Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to give you a quick intro because this video is me giving a presentation to a community of women about how to stop hiding your potential. I gave this earlier this year, April of 2024, and it's called Hidden Potential, How to Stop Hiding and How to Show Up in Business, in Life, and for God. So throwing this inspirational content in there, I hope it helps you. Everything you need is in the description. Enjoy. Hey everybody, how are y'all? Let me take my glasses off. Woo. I'm Patrice, and so I'm so happy you're here at the Hidden Potential Workshop. I'm going to show you all how to show up in life and in business for God. So I'll tell you, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking a lot about entrepreneurship and owning businesses and how to show up in that way. But the things that I'm going to share here, the principles that we talk about are transferable to anybody doing anything, right? It's about showing up. And if you are not comfortable showing up, and if you have not accepted the gifts that God has given you, and if you can't be in it, then you can't do any other stuff. You won't do any of the other things, okay? So just to give y'all a disclaimer, somebody in the other session asked, he said, well, if I'm not an entrepreneur, how can this apply to me? It can, and we can talk about that a little bit later, but that is kind of where my expertise lies. So I'm very happy that you are here. Before we start, I do want to pray. So let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this amazing experience that you have so generously allowed us to be a part of, whether we are on the planning team. Thank you for them, everybody that has poured so much into this event and this experience, or whether you are here to experience and meet people. I'm just thankful that we're all here. I'm thankful for everybody that came into this session right here, right now, because you told them to be here. And I just pray that if one person gets something out of what I share, then I did my job. And so I thank you, God, for allowing me to have this opportunity. And I just pray that the rest of the week can be fulfilling and full and beautiful. I have no doubt that it will be. So thank you, Lord. In your name we ask these blessings. Amen. As I said, I'm Patrice Camo, and this will be an informal, we're gonna be talking, right? It's not a lecture. I'm a very honest person. Sometimes I have some jokes here and there, but it should be fun. And in the lab, I'm gonna be real. Session one, people was crying, tears was falling. So let the spirit move through you, because I might say some things that might trigger you. I might say some things that remind you of the past or remind you of what you haven't done. But we're all here in love. And again, I'm really, really thankful to be here. I'm gonna be honest with you. And if you feel like you have things to share, go right ahead. This is open. You don't have to wait to talk. You want to say something, raise your hand. There will be a Q&A at the end of the session, so we will have time to ask me direct questions. So don't feel pressured to get it out, because we will have time for that. And then everything that I share here, you will have a QR code at the end of this where you will actually get the presentation. So don't feel like you have to jot the notes down. Y'all gonna get all of this at the end. Take it in, obviously write down whatever resonates with you the most, but you will have a copy of this in your, you'll have access to it. So it's all good. Some of my Sister Circle girls are in here. Hey, number 9, yes. Okay, so now we got all that stuff out the way. Can I have a confession, ladies? Can I share that with you? Is this is a safe space, okay? All right, so my confession is for more than 15 years, I was hiding my potential. I knew what God gave me. I was raised up in it, as you will see. But for more than 15 years, I just turned 40 in December, I was hiding. That's why this is called Hidden Potential, because I was not showing up in the way that I was supposed to be showing up. I was telling myself that I was supposed to be behind the scenes. I was supposed to be doing all the things to help other people. And while I do think God gave me certain gifts to help other people, He also gave me gifts to be standing right here where I am right now, talking to you and helping you in this way. So I'm able to present all of this to you because it was me. It was very much so me. Like I said, I hid my potential. I told myself a lot of things that weren't serving me and weren't true. We tell ourselves a lot of things that just be whack and not true. Our mind is wild, the things that it makes up. And more often than not, we don't even have the wherewithal to stop those thoughts. And this isn't real. We just go along with it. Year 1, year 5, year 7, year 20. And then we wake up I was supposed to do this. God told me to do this 17 years ago, and I didn't. And then we beat ourselves up. Not we then wake up and do it. Then we go further deep into despair and blaming ourselves or blaming other people. So I hope that when you walk out of here, or even during this session, you realize that you can do it, whatever it is. And I'm going to teach you and give you tools and tips that hopefully help you do it, I guess, more easily, or with more ease, or with more confidence, because you know that actually God told you to do it anyway. But before I get into hiding and all of that stuff, I'm going to take you back. So this is me. My mom was my mom is here with me session. She came to the conference with me, and she was in the first session, but she was like, I don't need to hear this again. I'm going to go somewhere else. I was like, girl. But this is my mom. That's my dad. And I'm showing you these pictures because my parents raised me to be on stage. When I was 3, I was dancing, all the things. My mom had me in modeling. I was in DC Youth Ensemble with world-renowned dancer Carol Foster. If you're in the dance community in the DC area, Carol Foster is that girl. I danced with her for many, many years. My mom had me in pageants. I was the Miss Baltimore preteen runner-up. Y'all see what I got on? That was my mom's dress. Everybody else had little frilly white dresses on. My mother was like, no, girl, you're wearing this. Because my parents knew me. My parents named me after Patrice Rushen. Anybody know who she is? Yes. Amazing composer, singer, all the things. I was named after her. They named me after an entertainer because they knew who I was. They paid attention to it. God told them who I was, apparently. Put me on stage, taking me to this practice, modeling. I don't know how much money my mom has spent on headshots. She knew her daughter, okay? And I did that from as early as I can remember until I got to college. I went to the University of Maryland, go Terps. Any Terps in here? Okay, yeah. And we know that University of Maryland is a predominantly white school. I'm from Prince George's County. We'll talk about that a little later. But I went to a HBC elementary school, HBCC middle school, HBC high school, okay? So I was like, okay, I'll go to a predominantly white school. And when I tell you that culture shock was real, mind you, it was in Prince George's County, right there. But it hit me like a ton of bricks. And so despite how my parents raised me, I started hiding. Freshman year, I wore bandanas every day because I wasn't able to get my hair done as much and get it pressed, and I didn't want to wear my natural hair. I think I was eating so bad, the food I was eating was so bad, it was flaring my eczema up like crazy. So I was like breaking out. I wasn't speaking up in class at all. I thought my white counterparts were so much smarter than me. Like I remember saying, I think I might have said to my mom, I'm telling you, we are so spoiled. I was like, dang, why y'all didn't send me to private school? Mind you, I went to a great high school. I had a great education. I got into every college I wanted to go to. But because somebody else seemed to know more, or maybe they just weren't afraid to speak up in class, I didn't think I was smart enough. So I started hiding. And that was in 2001. That's when I graduated from high school and went to Maryland. And did that for, like I said, about 15 years until 2016, 2017. Okay? I was afraid to show up. And what I did was took marketing jobs, did all this marketing and PR consulting. Some of the people I worked with, Troy Polamalu, Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, Chef Tobias Dorzan. I managed Chef Tobias for about 5 years. A lot of people. Raheem Devon, I helped him with red carpet stuff. But I was saying to myself, you're a PR girl. You're supposed to be behind the scenes. You're supposed to, girl, help them. And while I was helping them do their thing, I was not honoring the Patrice that I was raised to be, all the things, being on stage, and I wasn't doing any of it. I was just very quietly chilling in the background. Again, told myself stories that helped me rationalize my fear. How many of you have told yourself something? We just said how the mind be playing tricks on you. Because you think something or you want something to be true, you make up some lie. And you just go along with it. Oh, I can't do that. I don't know enough people. I don't have anybody to help me. I can't talk about that. I don't have enough followers. I don't have the right camera. We tell ourselves all these things to rationalize that we just are afraid. And fear is normal. But fear cancels faith, as we know. And when we don't trust what God has given us, then we can't show up and honor the gifts that he has given us. That's me behind the scenes. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But When I'm telling y'all I would have put my all black on and get to work behind the scenes, it was nothing. Because that's just what I felt like I needed to do. But then I woke up, okay? And so I am Patrice. Again, I'm Patrice Camo, Prince George's County native. I went to Oxon High School. Shout out to Zion Fort Washington, proud University of Maryland Terp. I am also the director of comms and marketing at Zion Church. So when you see our at Zion Church on Facebook, Instagram, that is the comms and marketing team. We work very closely with Zion Anywhere. The newsletters that you get, in focus that you see, that is the comms and marketing team. And I am behind the scenes at my job. I love it, right? I absolutely love it. And I'll be honest with you, when I started going to Zion in 2012 with my homies, I had no idea I would be here right now. When I joined Zion in 2015, during a very rough time in my life, no idea I was gonna be here. When I went back to Zion for the first time in person after the pandemic, July 3rd, 2022, it was the anniversary, no idea. Went in there, was sitting on watching PB, Passive Battle. I said, let me go to the website. So I went to the website and I said, let me look at employment. When I sit in church, I don't go on Zion's website. Also, Zion's website needs to be updated, so don't be shady. But I just happened, God told me, go to the website. What do I see? Director of Marketing and Communications. Applied to the job, got the job in six weeks. And now I'm here doing this. I emailed Pastor Joy when you were planning this, and I said, something had told me, God said, you need to speak. So I emailed her, hey, Pastor Joy, I would love to speak at this conference. Is that possible? I just knew, mind playing tricks on you, I was very afraid to send her that email, and I thought she was gonna say, we're good with speakers, do your job. Not because I think she's that person, but I was already telling myself that, okay? She was like, yeah, and here we are. So I am not saying you can't be behind the scenes, because I still do that. But there are rooms that you're supposed to be in, there are things that you're supposed to do, and your fear is stopping you. Had I not pushed past that, I wouldn't have emailed Pastor Joy and we wouldn't be here and you wouldn't get what you're going to get from this session, because I do believe you're going to get something amazing from this session. So that's me, and I just want to remind you all, I want to keep kind of throwing these nuggets in here. Again, you don't have to copy this down. You will get a copy of this when you finish. God does not want us to hide what he has given us. He's given us so much. And I'm willing to bet most of you already know this. You're probably really clear on this certain little thing or big thing that he put into you, into your mind, into your heart, on your body, but you're hiding. And maybe you weren't hiding before, but maybe you had three kids. And you're like, I cannot do that. I mean, just hide. I got to take care of my kids, because we tell ourselves that. He doesn't want us to hide. If anything, all the experiences that he gives us are so that we can do the job he gave us even better, right? And I wanted to also make sure that this is biblically based. So I put it, this is, I don't make these things up, right? So this is First Peter 4th chapter, verse 10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. So we're gonna break this down a little bit. Each of you, one, two, all of, right? And when it's each is very singular. So that means you have a special passion or a gift. You have a special gift. You have a special gift. Each person. Whatever the gift is. The gift could be doing hair. The gift could be designing shoes. The gift could be helping on the bereavement team and making sure families feel love and care. The gift could be taking care of children. The gift could be managing the camera. Whatever that gift is that he gave you, you have to use it to serve others. That is the number 4. That's the 4th part of the Zion mission, right? Empowered to serve. Empowered to serve. So while, yes, we have bills to pay. We got bills to pay. Money got to be made. But I do believe that the gifts that we're giving are to make other people better. They are to, most importantly, lift him, right? You should see God's grace, God's light, God's power when you hear me talk. I'm just a vessel. You are just a vessel for what he has for other people to see. Do y'all understand that? So knowing that, how dare you hide? How dare you hide? How dare you let your ego stop you? Because that's what it is, right? It's ego. It's ego. How dare you let that stop you
from being a vessel to a room full of people that need you. That God put in the room to see you, and you gonna hide? That's wild. And we have to stop doing that. We have to stop doing it. And this is the reminder and the wake-up call for you to stop, okay? So when I stopped hiding, I had the idea to open a co-work space in 2014. So it was a little, I may have capped a little bit when I said 15 years. It was 15 years from the time that I actually took action. But in 2014 is when I had this thought of bringing women entrepreneurs together. And I had this thing, this is before people was doing the empowerment brunches and all the things. None of that existed back then, okay? So I had this community called Cookie, and I would have monthly events for women entrepreneurs. And I would have people like Ronessa Brown speak, Dominique Broadway. Y'all heard of these people? Yeah. We all from the DMV. So I would be like, you're smart. Why don't you come talk to my, and they would show up. I had to pay nobody, I had to pay nothing, okay? So that was in 2014. Fast forward to 2016, and this spoke to me from our keynote speaker. Let me take a step back. 2014, 2015, I was doing these events, but you know, here and there, not really taking it seriously, okay? 2016 comes along and I found out that I'm pregnant with our second child. So I have 3 babies. My oldest is 17, my middle one is 6, she'll be 7 in a couple weeks, and then the baby is 5. But at this point, I only had one, and my husband and I had just gotten back together from our second separation, okay? So we got back together, we figured it out. We went to Haiti because my husband's Haitian, and I conceived in Haiti. Right? It was a beautiful, beautiful time, okay? And so then I'm pregnant, I'm excited. We're having our second child after 10 years. Well, at this point, it was 9 years. And I miscarried. So when she spoke about that, it hit home. Had a miscarriage on September 9th, 9/9. 9 is my number. That's December 9th is my birthday. My line number is 9. My daughter her birthday's 5/9. My son is 3/19, and our anniversary is January 9. 9s are very prevalent in my life, and I was in a sister circle 9. Very prevalent in my life. So on 9/9, September 9th, 2015, I miscarried. The following day, I went to Bikram yoga. After I had my DNC, I went to Bikram yoga to just sweat it out because I was just so sad, so devastated. And I heard God say to me, open your space. And that's when I opened my space. So I believe I had to go through that to stop hiding. There had to be something that devastating for my whole family, not just me. My 9-year-old son was sad. My husband was, broken apart. Had to go through that to stop hiding. Went to Bikram yoga, stopped hiding. That was in 16. That was in 15. For the next 1.5 to 2 years, I had pop-up events every month. So I would go to different spots along the Route 1, if you're from the DMV area, Baltimore Avenue. I would go to coffee shops, I would go to restaurants and be like, hey, I want to have a co-work community, I want to open a space, I don't have the space, but at least I'm going to bring people here once a month to co-work. You're going to win because I'm bringing new customers to you. I'm going to win because I'm building a community. Most people say yes. Some of the people, Turning Natural, y'all know Turning Natural, Jerry. I had one of her place in Forestville. Relationships, right? So after hitting the pavement for 1.5 years, I did end up getting pregnant again. My daughter Parker was born in May of 17. And then I found a space in December 17, signed a lease, and camp opened in March of 2018. Camp was one of the very first content studios to ever exist. Content studios became hip in 2020 because people were tired of being in their house during the pandemic. We had already been open for 2 years, okay? And when I finally said, okay, I'm gonna do this scared, and I'm gonna ask people to help me that I don't know. I'm gonna figure out funding, but I did it. Camp has been able to serve so many people that many of these people, I don't even know their reach. Chef Anthony, he's at Zion every Sunday doing a brunch. This is Kalana Barfield. She used to be the fashion editor for In Style magazine. Her and her daughter did a Colgate commercial at camp. What? She lives in New York. She came down, I think for Howard Homecoming, and needed a place to do this campaign. And she's also a Delta. So I'm a Delta. I think, hey. And she did it. And this was on her page. And it's like, they're in camp. What? This is Frank. He was on a show on Netflix. He would shoot at camp all the time. This is Gia Peppers, very well-known media journalist, host. She's also Pastor Battle's daughter. Asha's one of her best friends. This is District Motherhood. How many of you guys ever heard of District Motherhood? The Mom Friends. Tickets are selling out. They always sell out. In 2020, could you have an in-person event? Not at all. But they didn't want to cancel the Mom Friends, so they had to do it digitally. Where did they do it? At camp. So many moms were blessed who needed that day to just get away, and we were able to still make it happen because of the studio that I owned. Real Housewives of Potomac. Robin, do y'all remember this scene when they were sauntering? That was in my space. That was in camp. Yep. Robin, who is also a soror and went to University of Maryland, was on my email list, and we're going to talk about the power of email lists. She got an email, and she responded coldly and was like, hey, would I be able to shoot my hat thing? And I'm like, trying to play it cool. So I was like, of course you can. We would love to host you. I'm like, girl, yes. Like, what kind of question is that? Yes. Yes. Beautiful person, by the way. It was such a great, easy experience working with that whole production team. But she came there and she shot all the pictures for her company. Okay? My space is a part of that. I didn't know any of that was going to happen when I told God yes, after I had a miscarriage. But I stopped hiding and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. This is what you put on my back, so I'm going to do it. And I do believe her being able to create these beautiful brand photos helped her more confidently show up as who she is. Because if you watch the show, Robin be kind of low key and you want her to kind of like, girl. And I think that she changed a little bit when she opened this business, right? And I also was really thankful that their experience in the space was positive. It wasn't catty, it wasn't nasty. And I think that's all by design, right? Because I'm not like that. And I think that the energy in the space is positive. So it just made them want to have fun. But from this experience, not only were we on Bravo multiple times, we were on Wendy Williams because she kept playing back the clip. And every time I'm like, dang, they still talking about this joint. It was really cool, unexpected. This is Chef Eric A. He's on Food Network. I think he's hosting like his third show at this point. His cookbook, he did the first shots in the space because we have a full kitchen. This is Ashley. She's the founder of Bridal Babes. They're really hot on TikTok and Instagram. So her and her husband started a bridal company, and all of their dresses are fit inclusive. Doesn't matter how big, any size, big, small, whatever, their dresses look amazing on you. Her and her husband went on Shark Tank, and they were funded. So she's on all the news, she's in all the incubators. First shots that she ever did for her company were at camp. I don't say any of that to brag. I love being a part of these stories, but none of that would have existed had I not stopped hiding. More people, Takia, she's from the Getting Grown podcast, another beautiful person. And this is, you might notice the funny mama in the middle. My daughter, who was born after I had the miscarriage, Parker's on the autism spectrum. And so Catrice and Casey, who has the green skirt on. Casey is also, she goes to Zion. I don't know if she's a member, but she's always at Zion. They put together a DMV moms group for moms who are loving children, who have children with autism. And we would have the meetups at the space. So I'm not only serving creatives, but I'm able to use the space to feed me too and to connect. I didn't know my daughter was gonna be on the spectrum when I opened the space. But because of this space, I'm able to unite women that I need as we go through this journey together. But it didn't stop there. And I promise y'all, I'm not telling you this to brag. I just want you to see the power of showing up. That's the only reason why I'm doing this. I also started a podcast. We have a ton of episodes that teach people how to use content to market their business. So when you're given something, we said serve, okay? That's helping others. So I've taken my talent and bundled it up into a bunch of podcast episodes that I hope at some point help you. And it's not just about helping you, it's about when I pass, my legacy is forever here. My kids will have 135 episodes to listen to. So it's not just about you. It's about your children, your nieces, your nephews, the people who love you, who want to be able to feel you. That is why we create and do the things that we do, whether you're working for yourself or whether you're working in a traditional corporate career. So I just want y'all to, I'm saying all these things to help you understand it's not just about the here and now. There's so much that happens outside of us. And again, that ego, we just think everything is this little box. I don't want to do this. I want that. Nah, baby, it's bigger than you. And he gave it to you because he knows that. But you want to hide. And we can't hide anymore. That's just me and my podcast. It's time for you to stop hiding your own God-given potential. If you remember nothing else, remember that. It is time. It's been long enough. It's been 2 years. It's been 5 years. It's been 15 years. It's been 20 years. What are we doing? Every day I wake up and I think, if I died today, am I good? Yeah. I feel like I am moving in the way I'm supposed to move. I feel like I've done what I'm supposed to do. Not that it's over, but at this point, other than paying off some credit cards, there's not really anything that I can say, God told me to do it and I didn't try, right? And I want us all to feel that way. And that doesn't mean you're a million followers. That doesn't mean you traveling across. That don't mean none of that. That just means you heard him and you took one step. Okay, so what we're going to go through next are some of those steps that you can take to help you comfortably stop hiding. But sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable. Nothing great lasts in your comfort level. Remember that. You're going to have to be uncomfortable. Okay, so how are you going to do it? I created the 4C method, not because my hair is 4C, but I love alliteration, and C's just kind of also come in my life, maybe like 9. So the 4C method, again, you guys, you will have access to this presentation. So if you don't want to write it down, I'm a writer, so I will write it down anyway. You will get access to it. Promise you that. So the 4C method is calling, clarity, community, and content. Content is also content. A little play on words there. Okay, calling, clarity, community, and content. And so the first one we're going to go into is obviously calling. What is your calling? I want you to really answer these questions. And even if you don't have an answer right now, I want you to think about it. What has God called you to do? What has he called you to do? It might not be what you do every day. That's okay. It might not be something that other people understand. That's fine too, because God gave it to you, not them. But what has he called you to do? He has given all of us a very specific assignment, and we can choose to hear it and act towards it, or we can ignore him, which is very disrespectful. Okay? What unique gift has God given you? I believe my calling is to help people strategically communicate and tell stories. And that's honestly what I was doing behind the scenes. Okay, so I was still doing that. I was still doing the thing. But now I know he has a little bit more there. So that's why I'm here right now, because I'm not saying this. It's not a humble flex. I put this presentation together last night. Not because I'm a procrastinator, which I am, but life was life. Okay, because I am. Okay, I know myself. Life was lifing. And, you know, while I'm so thankful I worked for Zion Church was Zioning, wasn't it? Where my coworkers at? But we had a lot going on. And I didn't have the time to do it. Remember, I told you I got 3 kids. I ain't had the time. So yesterday, after the opening dinner, I had about an hour to get this presentation done, because I wanted to come to the party. The party was so lit, by the way. Yo, that party was off the chain. I came home, I was sweating. My mom was like, you had fun? I said, and did, girl. But anyway, I digress. That's an example of my unique gift. I am able to very easily tell a story. That's what God gave me. So I have to do that. But you have a unique gift. What is your unique gift? Also, one of my gifts was being on stage. My mom knew that when I was in her stomach. My mom knew that. My dad knew that when they named me Patrice Russian. Like, it was for me. It was for me. I'm willing to bet some of y'all have some of those things in you that you just tuck away. And it probably hurts you to even think about it. But we're going to stop. We're going to let it, we're going to dust it off and let it come back up. The third question, what comes natural to you? We don't have to make it difficult. We actually can think about the things that we do with ease and just do it. Oh my God, how about that? No, we always want to work harder. There's some things that you were given that just come natural to you. I can't do hair, so I cut my hair, right? But if I could do hair, I would probably be doing hair. Like, you feel me? Like, we have these things that just come natural to us that we should either lean into, and if it don't come natural to us, maybe we just kind of take a step back. Maybe that's not what God wants for me. right? But the only way that you know that is when you spend time with him and when you talk to him. You also need to be having resources in your life. So I wanted to share this because this book, and I'm gonna give you the story. Somebody give me a time check? I don't have my watch. 2:36. Thank you, sis. Quick story about this book, right? And there's also a link to it when I give you all the QR code. So if you don't write it down, that's okay. This book right here, I went to a conference in Nashville, Tennessee last October called the SALT Conference. Amazing. It's for church communicators, church creatives, right? And while I was I love books. I love to read. While I was at the conference, I went to the bookstore, bought this book, picked it up. It just kind of spoke to me, so I bought it. Week later, opened it up. We were at the Salamander for my husband's birthday, and I read like 2 pages, and I was like, this book is so boring. Why am I reading this? Get to page 3, and the guy's like, yeah, so then I created the SALT Conference. I was like, wait, what? I had no idea this book was by the person that created the conference. I had such an amazing time at the week before that I learned so much for. Read a couple more pages, find out the dude, he thought, Luke McElroy is his name. He thought God was telling him to create a summer camp for youth. So he's going on this process for a good 4 or 5 years. My math might be off. Trying to create a summer camp, and nothing was happening. The summer camp was not coming along. So he finally said, let me chill. And that's when God started giving him resources and telling him what to do. And he was already a videographer. He was already in the tech space. And he was already very ingrained in church. I think his father was a pastor. And he's like, I'm supposed to create a conference, a community for church creatives. When he was quiet and he heard God, that's when it all started to unfold. It was wild. And fast forward 10 years later, I'm at that conference realizing that maybe I hadn't been listening to God and listening to and hearing my exact calling, right? So if you need some kind of help on how to actually hear him, get this book. Again, there will be a link in the link that I give you. But pay attention to what is for you. Pay attention to the things that you do very easily. And stop ignoring it. Stop ignoring it. I don't care what somebody told you couldn't do when you were 5. I don't care what your teacher told you when you was in middle school. I don't care what you might have had a problem with, maybe because you didn't understand how it was being taught to you, or you weren't given the space to fully explore it. Now's the time to do that. We're all adults here, okay? We now can own what this looks like. And we also, understanding how somebody else may have crippled us or kept us hiding, we now know that we can't do it to someone else. We have to appreciate everybody's gifts and foster and help our kids the way my mom did, the way my mom put me on the stage. I'm like, girl, you better get out there, right? She knew that was for me. Next up is clarity. So first we have calling, then we have clarity. Pick one way. Once you are crystal clear on that calling, okay? Can't be 17 things. God don't want you to do 17 things. I don't care what nobody say. You got to master one thing first. Pick one thing. I didn't start speaking until I had my space for, I just started speaking for real this year, okay? I was running a space. That was my focus for the last 6 years. That's it. And then I got the full-time job, but you get me. Pick one way. Once you know what that calling is, that thing, pick one way, just one, that you can help somebody else with that gift. One way that you can help serve someone else with that gift. Just one way. Pick one way, okay? Trying to think of a quick example. Let's say you are an amazing seamstress, okay? You're an amazing seamstress, but for so many years, people told you, girl, fashion designers don't make no money. You can't go to New York. You can't do this. You can't do that. So you end up working as a accountant. Nothing wrong with it. No harm, no foul. But you can put together a look. Like you could sew that thing up. So maybe prom season is coming. Maybe you say, you need a dress. I know you're in need. Let me make this for you. See how it feels to actually activate that calling, okay? Once you do that and it feels good and you're like, okay, I'm not afraid anymore, turn it into an offer. What is an offer? An offer is you're offering up what you do, what your product is, in exchange for something. It doesn't always have to be money, but at some point we do want to ask for money, okay? It could be bartering. I'm always taking pictures. I always need pictures taken of me. I know a ton of photographers. So when the budget is low, I just hit up my photographers like, hey, I need some photos taken in exchange for you using the space for free. right? That's an example of how you can use the barter system. But once you figure out what that calling is, I want you to pick one way you can help one person, just to see how it feels. Just see how it feels. Turn it into an offer and document the process. I want you to write everything down or turn your phone on and record, okay, I did this, I called these people, and then I sent 4 emails. And then just write down what you did so that you don't wake up and you don't know what to do. So that when whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're in the corporate space or working for yourself, when you've blown up and it's so amazing, it can be replicated and it can be scaled, right? Because we cannot grow if we're doing everything ourselves. God doesn't want us doing everything by ourselves either. How about that one? How about that? He does not want us doing this alone. I don't have a Bible verse for it. I'm sure you do, Pastor Joy. I don't. But it exists. Okay? So be clear. One thing, serve somebody, turn it into an offer, and write it down. You write it down so it's clear. Okay? Next, find your community. Find your community. I guarantee you there are people that need what you offer. There are people that connect to what you offer. That's your industry. Or there are other people that do it too. Yes, we like to call these people our competitors. That's fine, but they're your community. They're going through the same things that you go through. They've maybe served the same type of client. They've maybe experienced things that can help you. Embrace it. But whatever you do, build the community. As a content studio owner, as a storyteller, my community is content creators. That's my jam. Whether they in the space taking pictures or behind a camera shooting clips, those my people. So you look through my Rolodex on my phone, I got so many people where it's like, I'm just use Ramon as an example. Ramon, video. Melvin, video. Deja, photo. Because that's my community. These are the people that I'm talking to all the time. And I'm very intentional about working with them and how I connect with them. And so I want you to do that too. Build your community. See who in this conference that we're in right now, introduce yourself to somebody. Ask them, what industry are you in? And I know for me, sometimes it's weird when you go to like a networking thing and it's like, what do you do? Because that's kind of weird, but I don't think we're in that space. I think everybody in here, we're buildher, right? We are trying to be better. We are trying to grow. We are trying to build ourselves and each other up. So build your community and then start gathering emails. Y'all are probably like, wait, she was all philosophical or whatever, and then now I'm telling you to gather emails. You need to start getting your community's data. You have to start getting your community's data. So most of you all have social media pages that have a link in bio. You need to start collecting people's email addresses. When they click that link in bio, it should say something like, hey, I'm Jasmine and I do this, or I love this. Tell me your email address so I can stay connected with you. The reason why I've been able to keep my business open for 6 years is because I had a community of people that I was serving before we even had a brick and mortar space. Community is so important, and again, you can't do it by yourself. This resource is Flowdesk. This is what I use for email marketing. We don't use it at Zion because Zion has so many email subscribers. But if you're somebody like me who wants an easy platform, I would suggest using Flowdesk. There is a link to this in the QR code that saves you 50%, so you don't have to do anything with it. When we're done, you scan that code, it'll get you every single thing you need. Okay, and then finally, or last but not least, is content. So you know your calling, you're clear on what you do. And again, this is not just for entrepreneurs. This is for someone who is an HR professional for the Fortune 500 company that can look at a pool of 500 people and get it down to 10 and find the right CFO in a matter of days. You know what you're doing, girl. And you need to own that and don't hide. Go into that boardroom and be you. You know what I'm saying? No more hiding. Ask for that raise. Document everything that you do. So when it's time to show up, you're like, oh no, I did this, and this. Okay? It's all transferable, y'all. We're not gonna hide anymore. They wanted us, black women, to hide. They want us to hide. We can't, clearly. It just shines through. But let's be even more intentional about it. You're amazing. Show up. Show up. So back to this, sorry. Next is content again. So content marketing, content rules the world. If you are living in 2024, and if you have a cell phone, I'm pretty sure it's a smartphone, the majority of the things that are on that smartphone are probably powered by some type of content. Okay, yes, it might be a banking app, but you better believe they have a blog where they are sharing financial tips. YouTube, all content. Social media, all content. Okay, content is literally taking something, turning it into video, email, and I didn't write the real name, the real definition for content down, so my bad. I should have had that slide up here so you can see the actual definition. But content is more than just posting pictures. Again, content is blog posts. Content is all the videos you watch. Content is the advertising that you see. Content has existed way before social media. Social media just enabled us to use it ourselves as consumers and become creators as well. We didn't have the means to do it before. Social media has leveled the playing field, which is a beautiful thing for you because social media is free and you can use these platforms to grow whatever it is that you want to grow at very, very low cost, okay? So use the community to learn as much as you can. So once you've, you know what your offer is and you know what that passion is and you know what that gift is and you don't want to hide anymore, you're starting to build that community. You go to social media, you use content to find out what they want. What does your customer want? What do they need? Ask them polls. Look at it, get all that free data that you can and create content around those things. So as a content studio owner, I lived in that space for a while, and I'm like, yo, it's a lot of people out here that want to open content studios. People kept asking me on my Instagram, how do I do? So now I have a community and a course that teaches you how to open a content studio. See how I did that? That's a whole nother revenue source, but my community needed it. Because they were all these photographers that kept having to rent my space out, and they're like, I could probably just get my own. Let me ask Patrice how she did it. So then I had to start that course. So I use content to find out what my customer or what my community needed. Some other great things about using content, again, content is showing up on social media, content is showing up in video, content is writing, okay? Content is creating things for others to see around whatever your expertise is. You can always repurpose it. When I was behind the scenes, I did a couple YouTube PSAs for a nonprofit, and I need to actually go back on YouTube and find those and repurpose them to show people, put them in my portfolio. I scripted this, I did all this, right? It can always be repurposed. And then I know, a lot of people have an issue with staying consistent. So with content, consistency is key. You do have to show up, but there are ways that you can do that. There's systems you can use, there are platforms that you can use so that you don't have to open the apps every day. Fun fact, my mom goes to Alfred Street. I did the Alfred Street Seek Fast, and in that fast, you couldn't use social media. How does that work when I manage Zion's social media pages? Well, I used an app to schedule everything, so I didn't have to open up the apps on my cell phone. So there's so many ways that you can get it done, okay? And then relax, you guys. As you move towards showing up and not hiding, remember, it's just social media. It's just videos. It's not I don't think anybody in here is a brain surgeon. If you are, my bad. But this ain't brain surgery, okay? It's just social media. It's just showing up. That's all. If it don't feel right, don't do it. Take it down. Archive it. Not that serious. And again, content marketing we're in the digital age, so you really just have to pay attention. You gotta be in it. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't. There are 70-year-old content creators. The most successful business owners start in their 50s, right? There is no time limit. You just have to show up. And again, just some more stats. I love content marketing. I love using content to market my business aside from having a content studio, but when I'm having conversations, I'm always having the content conversation, right? What do we want this video to say? How can we repurpose this? What's the goals? Because that is the way of the world. Nobody watches sitcoms anymore. We on Netflix, we on YouTube. That's on-demand content. So you have to fall into it. And I know all industries are different, but I will say, and somebody asked this question earlier, whether you're working a corporate job or not, you're a brand. You're a brand. So whether I'm sitting behind a desk, whether I'm owning my content studio, Patrice is Patrice, and you are you. And whether I want to hire you or whether I want you to be my client, there should be a place where I should go and find out who you are. And I think we forget that. Just like Coca-Cola is a business, just like Zion's Church is a business, you are a business, you are a brand. I don't care what you do. So I think it's very important that we start to look at ourselves like that. That's a part of showing up. One of the tips that I gave in the last session was I think everybody should own their domain name. PatriceCamo.com. I've owned that for years. I own all my kids' domain name, RJ Camo, Parker Camo, Reese Cross, and I own my husband's domain name. Because that's your digital home. And what if you want to sell something, or what if you want to do speaking, or who knows what you want to do? That's your name. You should own that. And so I'm hoping that this helps you just think a little differently about how you brand yourself just in general. How am I showing up? How am I showing up? When people look at me, do they see God? Come on, that's deep. When people look at you, what do they see? All right, and then again, just some more stats. I could go on and on about content marketing. But if you are trying to reach a community, content is where you need to go. 4.2 billion social media users. That's crazy. And some of them are like 6 years old. Let's keep it a buck, right? And then again, another resource, my podcast. So if you need some help or need just some quick nuggets, I got 135 episodes on any podcast platform, as well as YouTube, content marketing and contentment, insight, tips, and hacks for millennial mompreneurs. Like I said, I'm a millennial. I got 3 kids, married. I make content for my people. So you can answer this. You can say it out loud, or you don't have to. Have you been hiding? Yes or no? Yeah. Has this helped reset that mindset a little bit? We're not hiding no more. Are you going to start showing up in the way you want to be seen? Yes. Absolutely. Why not? And let me tell y'all something. Showing up is literal and figurative. Some of y'all might have saw me at breakfast today, and I had my workout clothes on because I have to go work out. It helps me mentally, but it also helps me look good, okay? We have to take ourselves seriously. We have to. You have to. We have to watch what we put in our bodies. We need to be drinking water. We need to be taking care of our skin. When you look good, you feel good. And you really have to start taking care of yourself. We have to continue to take care of ourselves, right? Because of course we want people to take us seriously. Of course we want to present a great package. But can't nobody stop you when you know you on. Can't nobody stop you. And everybody's going to say, it don't matter what you look like. It's about, no, it does matter what you look like. It does matter what you look like. And we need to take ourselves seriously. We need to. The same way that we pour into our children and make sure that they're fed and have all the things, the same way we pour into our husbands and our partners and make sure they do it for yourself. Maybe first. I used to have this whole campaign called Me First. Because none of them are anything if I don't got myself together. So I'm gonna get up at 5:30 and go work out. You might be late for school, because I gotta do what I need to do first. No, I'm serious, y'all. Because we don't. I'm gonna take my shower first, because I need to feel refreshed before I get in here with y'all. Okay? It's okay. It's fine, and you should. And I think when you start honoring yourself, you'll be more likely to start showing up and stop hiding. We hide because we're not confident. We hide because we're not happy with what we've done. We hide because we're disappointed in ourselves. We hide because we haven't done the work. We hide because we haven't done the work. And I'm telling you, and I'm giving you permission to do the work. I'm giving you permission to love yourself enough. Because all we got is us and God. Came in with him, leaving with him. Thank God for all the things that have come in our kids. And I'm so thankful for my children and my husband and my mom. But this right here, in your mental, you got to pay attention to it, ladies. And you can. And I hope that today, and I hope that this session empowers you to start showing up for yourself so that you are no longer hiding. You have so much potential. You've already done so many amazing things. God has already blessed you so much. And he will continue. Here's the thing. We're going to be great. He's going to give us a good life no matter what. Okay? I'm confident that we will all be all right. However, there's this other side of just like, oh, I did that? I moved past my fear? I asked the question? I said yes? And this is what came of it? And this is who I helped? And this is the legacy I was able to leave? And I know it sounds like super like, woo-woo in the clouds, but it's real. And I showed you a very clear example. That content studio, I had no idea it was supposed to be a co-work space. It's supposed to be another WeWork. That's what it was when we opened. And I was like, it's way more people spending money here taking pictures and shooting videos. This is a content studio. And people that I loved was like, what is that? Girl, you tripping. No bull. People that like, my husband. Because he don't know, he's a tech guy. He knows nothing about content. But I said, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. Pivoted that thing, and it was the best decision ever. And again, it's not just about me, it's about the impact that it's been able to have. Another Bible verse, 2 Timothy, 1st chapter, 7 verse. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power. Gives us power. Baby, ain't nothing more powerful than a black woman. Nothing. At all. Okay? Power, love, and self-discipline. So love is the given. God's love is in us. So that's all you need. But that self-discipline, that's when I said, if you don't do the work, you don't want to get up, you don't want to show up, nah. You're selling yourself short. Nobody has time for that. And some very hard truths. I told you I was going to be honest with you. I'm going to keep it a buck. The enemy wants to keep your potential hidden. That'd be the other thing. Y'all got to remember, when we don't want to do something, it's really not because of us. It's because the enemy is like, you're not that. So every time we don't show up, every time we keep hiding, he's winning. Canceling God all the way out. That's how you want to live your life? I don't think so. You got to show up for yourself first. I just went on a whole tangent about that. And I think it will be hard for some people in the beginning. It ain't hard for me no more. I'll be like, no, not doing that. This is what I'm doing. Thank you. But I hope that this also empowers you to start to put yourself first, whatever that means. It might be a 30-minute walk. Instead of having lunch at your desk, go for a walk. Not just so you can be snatched, so you can have fresh air running through your mind, so you can move. The sun is healing. Vitamin D is healing. Okay? Instead of drinking the Sprite, just drink some water. Where my coworkers at? What I walk around with every single day? That big old gallon of water. Period. It also serves as a weapon. Should you be walking in the alley by your mother? Drink water. Drink tea. Feed yourself. Have a salad. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. The other thing is when you don't, you feel crappy. You don't want to do nothing. You physically can't because you're sluggish because of what you put in your body. I'm not saying you can't have a good meal or a treat meal. I'm not saying that. But love yourself. Just love yourself. That's it. Just love yourself. And it's not going to be easy. I can't go. It'd be a lot of things I wanted to do that I just can't do because the calling is bigger. My want to show up as the best version of Patrice is bigger than going out with my homegirls last Thursday night. They definitely was like, are we going out? I was like, no. I wanted to though. But I couldn't because I needed to be here. I needed to be able to show up and be right for y'all. So you're going to have to sacrifice some things. But I'll tell you, when you sacrifice, when it's time to actually celebrate, and whether it's a big celebration or a small celebration, it feels so good. It feels so good, and you've earned it. So quick review. Your God-given gifts should not be hidden. So we are not going to hide anymore. Please, we are not. You don't need to. And we honor him when we show up. That is how we tell God, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for trusting me with this gift. Let me do what I'm supposed to do with it. And then you want to activate the 4C method, calling. Spend some time. Get the book. There will be a link to it. Clarity. You really need to be clear. You cannot offer 17 million things. Okay? Just stop. Pick one thing. Pick the thing you do best. Pick the thing that you do for your job. I don't know. Just pick one thing and go in on that. Stop trying to do everything. Stop. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Find a community. Build a community. Find a community. Build a community. And use content. Use content. But also take in content to learn. We were talking about mentors in the first session. People were like, how do you find a mentor? If you don't have the time or the money or just not sure how to navigate having somebody help you, YouTube University can teach you anything you want to know. If you want to open a content studio right now, you put in open a content studio. I've given you multiple videos that show you how to do it. Right? How do I do my taxes? It's all there. How do I start a business? How do I braid my hair? How do I get myself a manicure? It's all on YouTube. And what is YouTube? Video content. Okay? So find it. You can't be stagnant anymore. All right? And here's that infamous QR code I've been talking about. I'm going to leave this up while I take Q&A. Can somebody tell me what time it is? 3. Okay, we got about 10 minutes because I don't want to go over time. We got about 3 minutes for Q&A. Thank y'all so much. If I don't get to thank you at the end, you're welcome to walk up and grab the QR code if it's not scanning. But you know how we talked about email? And I don't know if I said this. I'm kind of getting my sessions mixed up. When you scan that QR code, which I think I'm going to ask for. Yeah. I need all that. I need that. I need that up off you. I need your name and I need your email address. And once you give me that, then you'll have all the things that I promised. See how I did that? I just built community with how many people? It's about 50 people, 40 people in here, right? So I practice what I preach. And I said, thank y'all so much. Let's take some questions. Okay, content, because that's like, you've been capturing content all weekend. Hi, and tell me your name, and then we'll go into the question.
Hello.
Hi.
I just had like a thought, like that just came to mind. I remember my mom and my sister was having a conversation about what is our gift. My mom has been a chef for like 10 plus years, 20 plus years, and her gift was serving people. And I would help her on catering sessions that we would have. And I was thinking, I was journaling and asking God, what is my gift? Because I struggle with that the most, trying to find it. Because people are like, oh, you can do hair, you take care of kids, you work at Extreme.
Yeah.
You help others. And all of that connects with patience. And I just realized that. I was like, that is like, my purpose is patience. Because when I did braids and everything like that, like, I was like, child, I don't know how you can do that. Like, you need patience to do that. I don't have that patience. I need to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like with kids.
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have patience with kids. I can't really work with kids. So I'm like, I'm trying to still figure out what gift God wants me.
This is so good because sometimes sometimes the calling isn't like this tangible thing. And you're a perfect example of that, right? So patience, and you have a very calm demeanor because we met yesterday. But if you know that this is your demeanor, or if the calling is something of that sort, then that should be leading you in the direction to do things that call for that, because you're going to do that better than anyone else. So it might not be a product or a service type of calling. Again, my calling is storytelling. So I just happen to be in the age where I can tell stories through content, right? That's mine. But we all have something different. So you've been able to find these spaces where you have to exude extreme patience that I would totally be like, I can't do this, right? Because I don't have that calling, okay? But you do, right? And so you've been able to, it seems like you kind of fell into these things, but now it's like, okay, let me be a little more thoughtful with how I make the decision. And I think your calling can change. Yeah. And I think sometimes it shifts based on where you are in life. And this is something we can just discuss. Like, a calling isn't sometimes it's a thing, but sometimes it's a spirit. But only you know that, right? Only you know that. And that's what I hope this conversation helps you to really consider. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't know how to ask this, but my thing is, and it's funny, she just said something about it. It's confusing because people put a lot of different labels on things. So like I'm a mom of five. I'm here since I have a job for each kid. And my thing is, one minute I'm here, the patients, the breathing, and then I, got my shop, and then I got another spot because I was waking up every morning and I was like, just go ahead and do it. And I'm like, do I supposed to do mini events or do I supposed to do this? Do I supposed to do that? Because I like making people smile, and I'm a clown, but not magic. I do activities and things like that. So I was working on Extreme, and I had to stop and slow down because I kept hearing all of these calling things. I'm like, well, I don't know what I do. That's because my clients tell me to do one thing, and then they say you're good with this and you're good with that. But there was another session where they say, like, when you go back into your childhood and you found out what you've been through, and I was picked on all the time. They was picking on me because they said you were black, you're dirty, they don't want to touch you, if this is something, they will let me have it type thing. And I used to be sad, and I said, I don't want nobody feeling like this. So as I grew up, I said, I'm going to be a teacher and get all the bad guys, so I'm going to be a cop. So most of my thing is like motivating and inspiring and taking down all of the hats and the jobs that I do. Now that I've done it so much, people come back and ask me for the thing. I say, I'm going to put this down and I'm going to focus on this. But when I do that, they're like, well, what happened to this? We want this. So I have to keep up with everything at one time but I still do it easily. So, and then the scripture in the Bible that says some people have one gift, some people have many talents. So why is there like a label on something? That's my whole thing.
Okay. This is good. So I remember, y'all know the jack of all trades, master of none? They never tell you the other part of that. And I don't remember exactly. But it essentially says it's like jack of all trades, master of none, but mastering lots of things is better than one. I'll pull it up. Trust me. When someone said it, and I think I ended up posting on my Instagram at some point. I did. They never tell you the end of it. They never tell you the end. Personally, because I have been someone who, before I go into that, I heard you say, people say it, people say it, people say it, people say it. I heard you say that a lot. You're not talking about what people tell you need to do, okay? People say I need to do a lot of things. Thanks. Didn't ask you. Appreciate it. This is what I'm supposed to do. Took me a lot of time to figure it out, and it took me doing a lot of other things to get here. So you might have to go through all of the things. And while I do think we all have talents and we all could do lots of things, like look at us, we can all do lots of things. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you're trying to do all the things, you cannot do anything great. You just can't. So I stopped doing everything else. I stopped managing clients. I stopped doing that. I have people, hey, Patrice, come on, man. No, I'm not doing that because I have to make this space great. I have to do this. Once that got in, then I said, okay, I'm gonna take my talents to Zion and get back into the workforce to really use more of these marketing and communication things. And just earlier this year, it was like, okay, but you can speak. So what I would suggest, like I said, I would hone in on something. That doesn't mean you can't do something to pay the bills, because we said that bills need to be paid, and if you have a talent, you can use that. But as we're talking about where we like our legacy and kind of whatever it is that we do, and this isn't starting a business, this is anything. I just think that he has given us a distinct thing. And when we're trying to do 7 of them at one time, I just think that's silly. Just, not silly, that's the wrong word. You can't focus. You just can't. Like, who are you? What are you doing? People used to tell me when I was in this space, so what do you do? And that used to offend me. What you mean? But it's like, because you was doing the most. Like, girl, pick something and make that amazing. I am a Sag. Yeah, we're all over the place. So I don't know if that helped. But that when you kept people, what is he telling you to do? What is he telling you to do? That would be my, I don't know if that helped, but.
I just want to say this session was great.
Thank you.
But I do have a question. When you were building your brand, as far as social media, did you create a separate social media page for, I guess, your business versus your personal?
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm at right now.
Absolutely, because I have a brick and mortar. So a brick and mortar 100% should have its own business. Its own pages. But if you're a coach, if you are doing something like that, just have the one, right? I don't really see the point in having, because that's just more things you're gonna have to manage. You should be your brand regardless. When you go to Patrice, at Instagram Patrice Commode, you're gonna see content, you're gonna see my studio, you're gonna see my kids. That's it. But because I have a brick and mortar, the camp business has to have its own pages, because when people, they just want to see the space. That's all they want to see. So the other part of that is don't get hung up. I've heard that question so many times. Like, just do something. Just do something. And if that means it should be you, I also think that people's social media names should be their name, okay? What's your first name? What's your last name? Put the two together. If it's taken, put an underscore on it. Like, stop hiding. Stop hiding behind all of this foolishness and fluff. What is your name? That's it. You understand what I'm saying? So I hope that answers your question. Hi, Claire.
Before I give my question, I just want to channel. Talk to him. Okay. So,
oh, Lord.
Right,
Inside joke.
First of all, thank you for this. And I want to say to you as a coworker, as a friend, as a sister, that I have seen you show up. And I'm just going to look this way. Patrice has been an absolute game changer for our organization in the way that we are showing up online. I had a different, if y'all haven't seen, we do a magazine every year. Yes. And the one this year is even better than the one last year. But
I love you. Thank you. Thank y'all. And it has not been easy. You know, that we can be honest, right? Like, a church is a company just like any other company. And it hasn't been easy, but God put me there for a reason. And so I have to show up. Ups, downs, whatever, I have to show up. I just have to. Because there's something on the other side, right? Like, I just have to. I'm learning so much in this 2 years, almost 2 years I've been there. But also, it's such a beautiful thing because if I wasn't at Zion, I wouldn't be here with y'all right now. You feel me? So it's important. And I think whether if you are in a job right now that might not be filling you, but you're there for a reason. You know, flip the switch a little bit. Maybe it's not so much, I can't stand these people, I'm not showing up, they get on my nerves. Maybe it's, okay, I'm thankful for this opportunity and this check that is allowing me to live my life. Let me do the best I can do. Let me build up my resume as best as I can. Let me use these resources so that I can flourish when it's time for me to leave. Because we be so quick, we so mad that we don't like it, we just ready to go. I'm not. Hold up. Have you done what you're supposed to do there yet? Hey, sis.
I just want to piggyback off of what she just said, and really encourage women to understand how not gatekeeping, how important it is for your fellow sister.
Mm-hmm.
If you have information that you can share, yes. If you're doing it on a bigger platform, then of course you want to be paid for it. But if someone, and that's the big problem in the Black community with women, we always think that it's cracks in the barrel, it's a competition. When a lot of times, especially in this society that we're in now, you have to understand the importance in collaboration. Like Patrice said, she knows a lot of photographers, but sometimes when she has to call them and say, hey, can you take these pictures, but this will be free. But guess what? They don't know that what exposure that they'll get from that.
Absolutely.
So I'm just encouraging you that whatever it is, if you do hair, you cannot do 100,000 people women hair.
Right.
So if you have a fellow person that
That's
says,
right.
I want to do microlocks too, and you're like, I don't really remember how, come on now. Just like if I say, oh, that's a nice blazer, and you like, I said, where you get it from? Well, I don't remember. You know exactly where you got that cotton from, man. You know where you got it from.
Absolutely.
Don't hide. Like you said, don't hide. Just
And look,
people out.
I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna go to your one question. That's gonna be the last question. Understand this. It's a very simple concept. When your arms are open, when you're open, whatever you need, girl. Your arm is open so you can receive. When you're like this, you're not gonna get nothing. I'm not saying that you let people take advantage of you. When people reach out to me, I ask them to send me an email so that I can set a boundary so I can talk to you when I can talk to you, when it fits in my schedule. You ask me some questions, happy to answer. Brrr, boom. When you come back, you might can schedule a 15-minute conversation. Beyond that, there is a consulting fee. That's fine. But I set boundaries and I have a process, right? I shared this in the other, and I'm gonna give you the mic after this. I shared this in the other one. Please don't ever go to somebody and say, can I pick your brain? Just don't. Just think about picking a brain. This just sounds painful, right? Never thought about it like that. Don't say that. Hi, I think you're doing, what you're doing is amazing. Would it be okay if I asked you a question? Or, this is what I like to tell people to do. Hey, I see that you're doing this. I would love to help you with this. Could we work together? Again, that barter, right? So nothing is free. Nothing's free. And we're not entitled to anything. People work hard, they learn, they go to school. I have a master's degree. I've spent a lot of time doing this. But I'm going to help you quickly. Email, bam, when I can think about it. But you're not going to text me. Call me when you can. I'm not calling you. Only people that can do that are my parents, my husband, and my kids, and my sister. That's it. I'm not calling you. Email me, because you have to set boundaries. That's self-care. And this is going to be the last one.
I just wanted to, you know how when we read the word and it says certain things like we shouldn't affiliate with the world and certain things like that, how do you divide the word so that the kingdom that we live in doesn't have to be subjected to this small area? Like, we as Christians can't collaborate with people who don't know God.
Yeah, I think that we as Christians, when we go into the world, we are sharing and showing what he can do, right?
How do we do that as opposed to not compromising? So how, say for instance, when you did that, you know that people who, say for instance, what's the young lady's name? Sexy Red. She called you. You know that not that she stand for is godly. But how do you say, okay, do I take this person on as a client with my brand that people know is attached to a calling from God, as opposed to saying, I might win this soul, but, so do we say, you can come on, but these are my requirements?
Okay, that's a wonderful question. Thank you for repurposing that. In my space, there is no smoking. That's a rule. That's a hard rule. I have requirements, and that's my rule. Now, if Sexy Red sent us a DM and said, I want to shoot a video there, and it's no smoking, sure. I'm sorry. It's not for me to, or say what you can and can't do. My business has a very clear rules, yes, no, boom, boom, boom. And if you break them, regardless of who you are, Pastor Battle could come in there and do something against the rules. It's gonna be a problem. You have to charge that card. Because that's my job, is to provide the space for you to create whatever it is that you're creating. And personally, I am not gonna stop whatever that creation is, because there might be somebody who watches that video and says, I can make videos. That ain't on me. My job is to focus on what I got going on here and do it in the best, most God-fearing, most positive way possible. Have I had someone, so funny you say that, I had a young guy, came into the space, smoked it out, cops were called, broke the fence. Y'all, the crazy thing is, I finally got him on the phone. I talked to him like he was my 17-year-old son. He felt so bad. And I said things like, do your parents, God? Like, I went in. That was what I was supposed to do at that moment, because he didn't follow the rules and he misrepresented himself. So my job as Patrice was to do that. But had he come in there and made the video, boom, 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 and it left, fine, cool. I hope it helps your career grow, right? So yeah, that's not for me to decide, but you will respect my business. You will respect my business, because that's what God gave me. So I don't know if that helps. Yeah. I'm gonna be here. I think the next session, child, time is all. I don't know what time it is.
7 o'clock.
Oh, okay, so we chilling. I'll be here for probably another 10 minutes if anybody wants to ask questions. Again, if you haven't scanned the QR code, please do so. I love y'all. Follow me on Instagram. Thank y'all. Thank you.